My dad drained $4.06 from my Sberbank account for my sister, then said it was my duty. I found out at 6:17 a.m., barefoot in my kitchen, holding a mug of coffee I never drank. The notification sat there on my phone like a bad joke. Transfer completed, $4,600,000 USD. From my Sberbank account to external beneficiary. At first I laughed, a short hollow sound. Because this had to be a mistake. I hadn't authorized any transfer. No investments, no properties, no charity. And definitely not $4.6 million. My hands started shaking when I saw the beneficiary name. Elena R. My sister. The daughter who was too strong. Growing up, I was always the capable one. Elena was the fragile child. The one who cried if her shoes felt tight. The one my father wrapped in bubble wrap while I learned how to fall and get back up. Maria can handle it, Dad would say. Elena needs protection. By 16, I was working. By 22, I had left home. By 25, I had built a career in international finance, quietly, efficiently, without asking anyone for help. When I opened my Sberbank account years ago, it was my money. Earnings, investments, deals I negotiated in boardrooms where my name wasn't welcome until my numbers were undeniable. I never bragged, never posted, never told my family the exact amount. I should have known better. The call that changed everything. I called my father immediately. He answered on the second ring. Maria, he said calmly, like he'd been waiting. Why is $4.6 million gone from my account? I asked. Silence. Then he sighed. I was hoping you'd be mature about this. My stomach dropped. You had no right, I said. That account is in my name. Your family, he replied, and Elena needed security. Security. My sister was 32, married, living in a luxury condo. She didn't need security. She's pregnant, Dad continued. Her husband's business is unstable. So you stole from me, I asked. I transferred funds, he corrected, as your father. My voice shook. You broke the law. I raised you, he snapped. I sacrificed everything, and now you're successful. This is your duty. Duty. The word burned. Elena has always been delicate, he said. You're strong. You don't need that money. I ended the call without saying goodbye. The family meeting. They called it a family discussion. It felt like a trial. My mother sat quietly. Elena didn't look at me. Her husband stared at his phone. Dad did all the talking. Maria has always been independent, he said. She'll recover. Recover? Like I'd misplaced my keys. I stood up. You accessed my account using old power of attorney documents. Dad's face tightened. I had access once, he said. Banks don't ask questions when it's family. I looked at my sister. Did you know? She whispered. Dad said you'd understand. That was the moment something inside me closed forever. They thought I'd stay quiet. They expected tears. A compromise. A reduced transfer. They didn't expect silence. I didn't threaten. Didn't shout. I simply left. And for the first time in my life, I let them underestimate me. What they didn't know. They didn't know. I had already flagged the transfer. Sberbank had compliance alerts. The power of attorney was expired. The transfer crossed international anti-money laundering thresholds. And they didn't know my closest friend was a federal financial crimes attorney. The investigation begins. Within 2 weeks, Elena's account was frozen. Her husband's business accounts were flagged. My father received a formal inquiry notice. The family group chat went silent. Then the messages started. Maria, this is too far. You'll ruin your sister's life. How can you do this to your father? I didn't reply. The courtroom moment. The judge looked at my father. Did you have written authorization to transfer these funds? No, he said. Did the account belong to you? No. Then explain why you believed this was legal. He swallowed. She's my daughter. The judge nodded slowly. And that gives you ownership of her finances. Silence. The truth comes out. During discovery, we learned. Alina knew the money was taken without my consent. Her husband had debts hidden from the family. The funds were already being moved offshore. My sister cried on the stand. I thought Maria would be okay, she said. Because I always had been. The judgment. The court ordered. Full return of $4.06 M. Penalties. Legal costs. Revocation of my father's financial authority over any family member. My father didn't look at me. Alina tried to hug me outside the courtroom. I stepped back. The final conversation. A week later, Dad called. You've destroyed this family, he said. No, I replied calmly. You did when you taught me my worth was conditional. He hung up. What I learned. I learned that being strong doesn't mean being silent. That family doesn't mean access. And that love without respect is just control wearing a familiar face. Today, my accounts are secured. My boundaries are stronger. And my life is peaceful. Alina has her husband. My father has his pride. And I finally have something I was never allowed before. Freedom without guilt. The money came back first. Not all at once. Banks don't work that way when they're unraveling crimes, but enough to confirm what I already knew. I had won. Yet winning didn't bring peace. It brought exposure. Because when money returns, truth follows. The sister I never really had. Alina showed up at my apartment unannounced. No makeup, no designer coat. Just fear. I didn't know it would get this bad, she said, clutching her purse like a life raft. I leaned against the doorframe and didn't invite her in. You knew it wasn't mine to give, I said. She shook her head. Dad said you'd be fine. You always land on your feet. There it was again. The lie that had excused everything they'd ever done to me. You didn't think to ask me, I said quietly. Her eyes filled with tears. I was scared. So was I replied, when I saw my account empty. She reached for my arm. I stepped back. I love you, she whispered. No, I said, you love what I provide. She left without another word. What the investigation uncovered. The federal review went deeper than anyone expected. They found. My father had accessed 3 other family accounts. He had redirected money, temporarily for years. Alina's husband had falsified revenue reports. The offshore transfer attempt triggered an international fraud alert. This wasn't about me anymore. It was about patterned abuse disguised as family leadership. And once that mask cracked, everything underneath rotted in public. The man my father really was. Dad tried to regain control. He sent long emails about family loyalty and blood obligation. Then threats. Then apologies. Then silence. In court, the judge asked him one question that broke something inside him. Did you ever ask your daughter what she wanted? He didn't answer. Because the truth was simple. He never had. The day Alina chose. Alina's husband was indicted. Their accounts were frozen. Their condo went up for sale. The baby came early, from stress, the doctor said. Alina called me from the hospital. I don't have anyone else, she sobbed. I closed my eyes. This was the moment they always counted on. The moment my strength would become my obligation again. I spoke gently. I will help you find resources, I said. I will not be your safety net. She screamed. I hung up. The last hearing. The final ruling came 6 months later. My father received financial penalties, loss of fiduciary rights, mandatory compliance monitoring, no prison, but something worse for a man like him: irrelevance. He was no longer the provider, no longer the decision maker, no longer needed. The end, the life I built after. I moved. New city, new address, new circle. I changed banks, changed numbers, changed how I defined love. I no longer explain myself. Sometimes people ask if I regret it, if I miss my family. Here's the truth they don't expect. I miss the idea of them, not the reality. My father still tells people I abandoned him. Elena tells people I chose money over blood. I let them, because for the first time, my story belongs to me. And I finally understand something powerful. Being strong doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. It means refusing to be used. Final line, YouTube perfect closing. They took my money because they thought my strength was permission. I took my life back, and that cost them everything.